Okay, today I'm having a special treat. This is pretty much the most important food to Northeastern Chinese culture, um, which is called chuar. Um, Chuar or chuan, if you're in the South, you say chuan, um, means things on a stick. So skewers of meat, like this. It's a type of barbecue. So this is the standard form of barbecue that they have here in most of northern China, and it's also popular in the south, but not as common. Um, and it's also very popular in the northwest. So although I'm in the northeast of China, and this is a specialty item of northeast China, the version I'm having is actually the Northwest Chinese version, the Xinjiang version. So I ordered. There's sort of in Harbin. There's sort of two main versions of this kind of food. You can have the sort of just standard Harbin version or the Xinjiang version, the Northwest Chinese version, which is halal, like Muslim and halal. And so today I'm having the Northwest version, the Xinjiang halal. So Xinjiang is the region in the northwest of China, and halal in Chinese is called Qingjian. So this food is all Qingjian, which means it's halal. Although I'm not going to be halal with this because in Harbin it's standard to accompany your chuar with beer. So I'm having a Harbin beer to accompany my chuar. So that's not halal, but the food is halal. But I'm not Muslim, so I don't really care. But it's good food, and I like beer, so I have a beer as well. This is sort of the cheapest local beer. This brand, Harbin Beer, has two main varieties locally. There's this one that's called just Harbin Beer. It doesn't have a type associated with it. It's just called beer. That's the cheap version. Um, and then there's another one that's the slightly more expensive version, which comes in a gold can. Or this is the silver can. The gold can is the slightly nicer version, called Xiaomai which is Wheat King. Xiaomai is wheat, and so it's a wheat beer, and Wang is king. So Xiaomai Wang means a Wheat King beer. This one is just called Harbin beer. Ha is for Harbin, and Pi is for Pijiu, which is the word for beer. So people just call this is called Harbin Pijiu, or they shorten it to Hapi. Hapi. So I'll show you some of the food I'm getting. I got some beef and some lamb. We'll try and figure out. It might be difficult to identify some of it, but I got this. This is a big ol' honker of a thing. This type, I'm not sure the type of wood this is, but this is a sort of fancier thing they do where they stick it on an actual twig of a stick. In Chinese, it's just called red stick, hongliu. Hong means red and liu means branch or stick. So this is just called hongliu da chuar. So you can split up chuar, which is the type of dish, into da chuar and xiao chuar. Da chuar is, or actually you can split it into three. You can split it into da chuar, chuar, and xiao chuar. Da means big, xiao means small, and then if you don't say either of them, it's just kind of medium sized. So something like this is lamb, so it's yangrou. So this is called hongliu, the branch, dayang chuar, big sheep, big goat or big mutton, whatever you want to call it, stick chuanr. So we got that. The sort of standard seasonings to put on this are, there's a mix of some things. The main thing is cumin, or in Chinese, ziran, and then pepper flake. So you can you can't see it quite as well on this, although you can see the meat's a little red. You can really see it on this. This is a naan, or in Chinese, nangbing. You can really see the red pepper on this. Like so they use kind of a red pepper flake oil with cumin and sesame seeds and a few other seasonings mixed in it. They use, there's, depending on the style of chuanr you're getting, there's kind of standard seasoning blends that places use. The Xinjiang version is usually a little spicier, and the Harbin version is usually a little more like cumin forward flavor. But they're fairly similar. It's a strong cumin and spice flavor, and it's just a blend of spices they put on it. While the chuanr here is cooked on a narrow grill. They have these sticks of charcoal, similar to like Japanese style charcoal. Actually, the whole cooking process is it's the same as the style of barbecuing done in Japan. Japan has this same thing, which might be more familiar to Western audiences. It might not. I don't really know. But you have these kind of long sticks of charcoal that are basically exactly the width of the standard size of the grills. And you put the sticks of charcoal in and you burn those, and then you just lay the sticks. The grills are basically about that wide, and you lay the sticks across with the meat over top of the fire. And that's the standard sort of way of cooking the style of barbecue. All right, so I'll move on to the next one. The next one is beef. This is also da chuanr. So you can see this is a little big. This one is neuro, beef. So it's not on a fancy stick. It's just on a regular like skewer. So this is just called neuro da chuanr. That's quite good too. I'm going to have a bite of this bread too. The bread is like a flat bread. They use the same word as the Indian word naan, but it's not really naan. It's a sort of Central Asian flatbread that in Chinese is called nang. So bing it means a flat piece of bread, and then nang is this style. So nang bing is the name of this bread. So that's the beefs. Then we also have some smaller sticks. I got some smaller sticks, both of beef and of lamb. It can be hard to tell on looking. I think that one's beef. Yeah, and that's lamb. So I got a few of the smaller sticks of both. Oh, spice is catching in the back of my throat. It's not overpoweringly spicy, but they definitely have a decent amount of red pepper flake on here, which gives it a nice little spice in your mouth. So those are the four. I got four kinds of the chuanr sticks, the meat chuanr. I got just, these would not be called xiao chuanr. Chaunr will be usually on a metal stick and then really teeny pieces of meat. And they're usually super cheap, and you buy like a whole bunch of them and eat a whole bunch. I didn't get a huge, I got just a couple sticks of stuff here. And then, but so you can get like the small, the medium, or the large. The sort of standard one is the medium size, but various special restaurants will specialize in doing the bigger ones or the smaller ones or whatever. So then I'll show off this nangbing again. I was talking about the nangbing. So this is also like cooked in an oven. It's a pretty standard thing they have at most of the Xinjiang chuanr. The Harbin chuanr doesn't usually have this. They have some other styles of bread and things that they cook, but this is unique to the Xinjiang version. And then the other stuff is pretty standard. You can get it at any kind of chuanr restaurant. So most of the dish, the types of meat and stuff are overlap at both. You can get about the same things. The only difference is at the Dongbei, the northeastern ones, or the Harbin ones, they will also have pork and pork products. And they may also have some seafood products as well that might not. I don't know the full rules for halal. I know that in kosher or halal, I don't remember which one. Some of them have some rules about eating various shellfish and things like that. But the Harbin, the Dongbei ones they'll have all kinds of seafood and stuff too. They'll have meat and seafood. The Xinjiang ones tend to not have the seafood options. They tend to just have the meat, beef and lamb and chicken. But then there's also lots of veggie stuff you can get. I only got 2 veggie options. The first one is also cooked on the grill. This is a chuanr thing. This is called gan tofu chuanr. So gan means dry. Tofu means tofu. So gan tofu is dry tofu. I've talked about this in several previous videos. Typically, the way I've shown it before, it had been sliced into strips. This is full sheets of it, right? You can see it's a full sheet that's just been rolled up. And that's what chuanr means. So chuanr means a roll or a wrap. So gan tofu chuanr is sheets of this dry tofu that have been wrapped up around either cilantro or onion or both. This one looks like it's pretty cilantro heavy. Sometimes, like, it'll just depends on the restaurant. Sometimes it'll be cilantro. Sometimes it'll be just little strips of onion, and sometimes it'll be strips, a bit of both. And so they wrap the dry tofu up around, like one sheet of the dry tofu wrapped up around this little bit of veggies, and then they skewer them on sticks like this. Usually they'll do 4 or 5 on a pair of sticks, and then put the same seasoning they put on the meat and stuff and cook that on the grill. So that's a pretty popular sort of accompaniment to the meat. And then the last thing I got, this is sort of a light, sort of refreshing option. It's like a raw salad. It's called素拍黄瓜. So, or sometimes they don't say the su. Sometimes they just say 拍黄瓜. Pai means to like crush something flat. So, and huanghua means cucumber. So,素拍黄瓜is cucumber that's been, sometimes they chop it a little bit, but sometimes they literally just take the flat side of a knife and just crush it until it breaks apart into chunks. The sort of standard thing is they crush the cucumber first and then chop it a bit to make slightly smaller pieces. And then that's just mixed usually with salt and vinegar. Maybe a little bit of oil. But it's unusual to have oil in it. This is just like raw cucumber mixed with a bit of salt and a bit of garlic. So you chop up garlic, salt and garlic, cucumber. This one doesn't taste like they put any vinegar in it. Sometimes they put vinegar in it. But it's just kind of like a raw cucumber salad. And it goes really well with sort of the really hearty meat that you have with the chuanr. It's like a light, refreshing kind of palate cleanser to go with the fatty, greasy meat. So that's my meal of this is Xinjiang chuanr. So, but it's in Harbin. So Harbin, Xinjiang chuanr. I think that's everything I've got. So I'm going to end the video and finish up the meal. And I'll see you on the next one.